The Empire of Sanctity, furious at the refusal, decides to use the recently discovered power of the sacred relic to raise the dead, to raise an army of undead soldiers and use them to aid as they attempt the conquest of Vatican City. The undead army is unleashed upon Vatican City, causing chaos and destruction. The once peaceful city is now a battleground as the living and the dead clash. The Pope, horrified by the events unfolding before him, orders his clerics to perform exorcisms on the undead soldiers. The conflict rages on for several days, with neither side gaining a clear advantage. Meanwhile, in Frosthaven, the Empire's expert alchemist has successfully created functional firearms. These weapons are far more advanced than the crude hand cannons of Sanctity and can be reloaded multiple times. Hearing of the events in Vatican City, Frosthaven decides to intervene and sends their seafarers to aid the Vatican in repelling the invaders. The undead army, now under the control of the alchemist from Sanctity, begins to show signs of intelligence and adaptability. They no longer mindlessly attack. Instead, they form ranks and coordinate their efforts under the command of the necromancer. The battle for Vatican City becomes even more brutal as the living and the dead engage in a savage struggle for control. The Frosthaven fleet arrives at the shores of Italy, led by their skilled seafarers. They disembark their soldiers, who swiftly march toward Vatican City to aid the Pope's forces. Upon arrival, they find themselves caught in the midst of a horrific battle between the undead and the defenders of the Vatican. The Frosthaven soldiers quickly form ranks and engage the enemy, using their superior firearms to devastating effect. The undead army, now under the control of the necromancer from Sanctity, begins to retreat toward the safety of the Vatican walls. However, they are pursued relentlessly by the Frosthaven forces. The necromancer, realizing that he is losing control of the battle, attempts to summon a powerful demon to aid them. A massive infernal creature materializes in the sky, breathing fire and destruction upon the Frosthaven soldiers. The Frosthaven forces, despite the fearsome appearance of the demon, remain steadfast. Their veteran soldiers form a phalanx against the undead horde, while their marksmen target the necromancer. After a brutal struggle, they manage to corner the necromancer and the demon. The Frosthaven forces close in, surrounding the necromancer and the demon. The air is thick with the stench of smoke and the screams of the dying. The necromancer, realizing that his fate is sealed, desperately attempts to summon more undead soldiers. However, the combined efforts of the Pope's clerics and the Frosthaven forces are too much for him to overcome. The demon, enraged by the failure of its servant, unleashes a torrent of hellfire upon the Frosthaven soldiers. The flames engulf the area, burning soldiers and undead alike. In the midst of the chaos, a lone figure emerges from the smoke and fire. It is the Emperor of Frosthaven, who has come personally to ensure the victory of his forces. His presence galvanizes the soldiers, and they renew their efforts with renewed vigor. The demon, distracted by the Emperor's arrival, is struck down by a volley of arrows fired by the Frosthaven marksmen. With its death, the tide of the battle turns decisively in favor of the Frosthaven forces. The necromancer, defeated and humiliated, is taken prisoner. The Emperor, in a show of mercy, spares his life, but strips him of his power and exiles him from Frosthaven.